tails, one head, yin yang. Two heads, one tail, yang yin. Two tails, one head, yang yang. And trigram Li, light or fire. One tail, two heads, yang yin. Two tails, one head, yang yang. Two tails, one head, yang yang. First read a passage from the Book of Balance and Harmony, which is essays, conversations, poetry, and songs about the secrets of Taoism teach how to live a centered and orderly life. From the Taoist Classics, Volume 2, translated by Thomas Cleary. Secrets of the Golden Pill. The outer medicine is perfecting life, the inner medicine is perfecting essence. When the two medicines are complete, one is physically and mentally sublimated. Stabilization of the furnace. Supporting the universe, the great unknown, who gives it the name of the jade furnace? Having gone through refinement herein, one can leave non-being and enter being at will. Setting up the cauldron. It is not non-being, not being, not in between. Outside is void, inside is empty. The decisive and energetic overturn it and see. All along, that has always been aglow. Restored elixir. It is originally clear before history. Obscurities are all due to fixation on illusory forms. When you pick out the elixir, it is round, open awareness. Reverted elixir. The Tao is originally uncontrived, patterned on nature. Sages set up images, a sphere of temporary names. In everyday life it is completely manifest, but only when you break through do you know the primordial. The spoken secret. Take the real consciousness out of the overlay of conditioning that obscures it and use it to make awareness complete, restoring the celestial. With the pure creative root of life stabilized, the pearl of immaterial essence is perfect. As a sensitive receiver, one perceives the celestial design, detached from objects, one accords with the highest meditation. When one knows how to go about gathering real knowledge, in 3 stages one activates the embryonic immortal. When the mind does not stir, the energy is naturally stable. When the will does not waver, the spirit is naturally aware. When the body is not restless, the vitality is naturally stable. Metaphors. Vitality in the body is yang within yin. Refined vitality into energy. Energy in the mind is yin within yang. Refined energy into spirit. The original spirit is formless. Refined spirit into openness. Outer and inner medicines. The outer medicine can be used to cure illness and prolong life. The inner medicine can be used to transcend being and enter into non-being. Learning the Tao usually should start from the outer medicine. After that, you can come to know the inner medicine on your own. Advanced people who have already developed basic, worthy qualities know it spontaneously, so they cultivate the inner medicine without cultivating the outer medicine. The inner medicine involves no doing, but there is nothing it does not do. The outer medicine involves doing, and there is a way to do it. The inner medicine has no form or substance, yet it really exists. The outer medicine has body and function, yet it really does not exist. The outer medicine pertains to the physical body. The inner medicine pertains to the metaphysical body. The outer medicine is perfecting life. The inner medicine is perfecting essence. When the two medicines are complete, one is physically and mentally sublimated. The outer medicine. At the first pass, refining vitality into energy, it is first necessary to recognize the time when the primal vitality arises and then quickly gather it. At the middle pass, refining energy into spirit, one harmonizes the true breath, the inner pulse of life, so that it flows everywhere. From the bottom of the torso, it flows backward up the spine to the head, where it mixes with the spirit. After that, it descends to the solar plexus and enters the middle of the torso. When spirit and energy mate, a point of conscious energy appears in the center of the thorax. At the upper pass, you refine spirit back into space-like openness. Refining thought by mind is called 7 reversion. Sense coming back to essence is called 9 restoration. The inner medicine. The inner medicine is essential for refining the spirit. When body and mind are both sublimated, merging in reality with the Tao takes place. The inner medicine is the primordial point of true yang, the celestial. It is likened to the center line in the I Ching trigram heaven, when it meets with earth. That forms water. The center line represents true inner sense, which is firm and hence symbolized by metal, so it is also called metal in water. These are all names for ultimate vitality. When the ultimate vitality is stable, it reverts to generative energy. The generative energy is the primordial, immaterial, unreified, real, unified, basic energy. It does not refer to oxygen and respiration. When the central line of heaven has been injected into earth, making water, the central yin of earth is injected into heaven, making fire. The central yin of fire represents flexibility in consciousness. Since it originates in earth, it is called mercury in sand. The Tao produces 1, 1 produces 2, 2 produce 3, 3 produce myriad beings. Openness changes into spirit, spirit changes into energy, energy changes into vitality, vitality changes into form. This is called going along. Myriad beings are included in 3 heaven, earth beings. The 3 return to 2, yin and yang. The 2 return to 1. Refine the ultimate vitality, and vitality turns to energy. Energy turns to spirit. This is called reversal. Alchemical texts say going along produces people. Reversal produces the elixir of immortality. The 3 superior medicines are vitality, energy, and spirit. Their body is 1. Their functions are 2. What is the body? It is the original great matter of the 3 bases. What are the functions? They are the inner and outer applications. The inner medicines are primordial, ultimate vitality, immaterial, open energy, incorruptible, fundamental spirit. The outer medicines are sexual vitality, the energy of breath, and the thinking spirit. Refining vitality into energy. The first pass involves doing, taking from water to fill in fire. Taking to the Tao is seeking the mystery in the province of water, which represents vitality on the primal plane and desire on the temporal plane. Alchemical texts say, when vitality arises, gather it at once. If you look afar, you can't taste it. Gathering is non-gathering, gathering. Were there really something gathered, how could the central line in water, which represents something intangible, ever rise? Vitality is an emanation of the primordial ultimate awareness. Based on its action, the body comes to be. The ultimate vitality in the body is yang. Gathering means gatheringness. This may be symbolically represented as heaven being the primordial ultimate awareness. By one initial movement, it mixes with earth and produces water. This is a representation of the ultimate awareness emanating the fundamental vitality into the earthly plane. The alchemical term gathering lead refers to gathering the inner sense of the vitality emanated by primal awareness. As this sense is firm and unequivocal, it is symbolized by metal and called true lead. The experience of gathering lead is hard to describe. It is possible to understand much of it by pondering the statement from the I Ching. Thunder, movement, is in earth, stillness, return. Kings of yore shut the gates on the winter solstice. The caravans did not travel. The lords did not inspect the regions. This means that the return of the movement of the primal vitality emerges from stillness. When it first arises, it is important to remain calmly attentive and not dissipate it by excitement or impulsiveness. The precise details of the process are secret, in that they must be passed on personally, according to individual circumstances. Refining energy into spirit. In the middle pass, being and non-being interpenetrate. Movement and stillness open and close. Buddhists cultivate concentration in the chamber of fire, or conscious awareness. Taoist literature says will stabilizes inner sense stabilizes conscious knowing. When inner sense and conscious knowing submit to will, body and mind are tranquil. This statement is exhaustive. Once you find the true inner sense, there is no worry that consciousness will not be stabilized. In refining energy, movement is essential. Opening and closing, coming and going, rising and descending without stopping. At first this is done consciously, later it becomes spontaneous. One exhalation and inhalation takes the place of the evolution of a year. This is the meaning of Lao Tzu's saying, "The door of the mysterious female is called the root of heaven and earth. Continuously there as such, use of it is unforced. Continuously there as such, use of it is unforced." If people focus their minds on the opening of the changes of movement and stillness, when movement emerges from stillness and when movement culminates and begins to revert to stillness, they will find the essentials of refining energy are all there. Refining spirit back into openness. In the upper pass there is no doing. When the work arrives at this stage, not a single word applies. These three levels of work are one when accomplished. If you can perceive this with unified vision, then the great concern of Taoism, Buddhism, and Confucianism is done. Our inner trigram or bottom trigram is Li, fire, and light, which is a solid line, then broken line, then solid line. Li is fire and light, both inner and outer. As an inner light, she is consciousness at its most lucid and unclouded, holding things together in the mind, perceiving their differences and connections, and discerning the underlying patterns of relationship. And as well as vision, Li is the light that makes things visible, the power to cast light on things, spreading clarity and the awareness of order. Li is the middle daughter, living in the south, the region of midsummer and the burning sun. And then our outer trigram or top trigram is broken solid solid, which is Xun, wind, or wood. Xun is both wind and living plants. Whatever penetrates, spreads, and grows, shaping itself to the space available, or shaping that space to its own nature. She is responsive flexibility, sensitively improvising and adapting. Like the wind, she can always find a way through because she never creates any resistance, and so her influence is subtle and gradual, but far-reaching. In the family of trigrams, Xun is the eldest daughter, gentle and submissive. She belongs to the southeast and to late spring and early summer. So, Li, fire and light, beneath Xun, wind or wood, which will give us the hexagram. $37. Which is people in the home. Governing the inner, refining the self, mastering the mind, turning the attention inward. Be reading out of the Taoist I Ching, written by I-ming in 1796 as a Taoist adept, and it's been translated by Thomas Cleary. People in the home, Hexagram 37. For people in the home, it is beneficial that the women be chaste. Explanation. People in the home means there are people in the home. This is the path of governing the inner. As for the qualities of the hexagram, above is wind, entering, and below is fire, luminous. When illumined, one can follow the Tao, and by following it, one can gradually develop the illumination. Receptivity and understanding are necessary to each other, like wind blowing fire so that fire grows with the wind. Here is a way to govern the home, so it is called people in the home. This hexagram represents refining the self, mastering the mind, turning the attention around to gaze inward. It follows on the previous hexagram, advance. In advance, illumination grows from receptivity. It is the work of advancing the fire and employing illumination. To advance the fire and employ illumination, it is necessary to first illumine the inner. Illumination of the inner is refining the self. Refining the self simply means refining the yin within oneself. What yin is this? It is the human mentality. In the human body, the vitality, spirit, soul, psyche, and intent all belong to yin and all take orders from the human mentality. When the human mind is calm, they all are calm. And when the human mind is agitated, they all are agitated. Refining the self simply means refining away this human mind. When you refine away the human mind, the mind of Tao spontaneously becomes manifest. When the mind of Tao becomes manifest, the mind is illumined. Then the vitality, spirit, soul, psyche, and intent all transform into guardian spirits of truth. The human body is like a home. The human vitality, spirit, soul, psyche, and intent are like the people in a home. When you refine the human mind and produce the mind of Tao, the vitality, spirit, soul, psyche, and intent each rests in its own position, and each discharges its own affairs. Joy, anger, sadness, and happiness are all harmonious and balanced, like a family being orderly. This is represented as the benefit in women being chaste. Women consider preservation of chastity valuable. Refining the self is like a woman preserving her chastity and not getting engaged. Then the true yin within oneself will become manifest. When the true yin is manifest, the open awareness of the mind is unobscured, and outside things cannot get in. Thereby one can gradually progress in an orderly manner to seek the yang of the other to the benefit of all. In the body of the hexagram, the second line is empty, below, while the fifth is solid, above. When one empties the mind, one can thereby fill the belly. The benefit for female chastity is precisely that whereby one affects emptiness and preserves calm, as a strategy to establish the home and business. Therefore, practitioners of the Tao are cautious and wary, and do not let any yin energy reside in the heart, even subconsciously. And then further commentary by I-ming On Hexagram 37, we will read from the back. Members of a family. Wind above, fire below. Wind emerges from fire, members of a family. Thus is there factuality in the speech of superior people, consistency in their deeds. Members of a family means the people of one family. Above is wind, below is fire. So fire is inside and wind is outside. Wind emerges from fire. When fire burns, wind spontaneously arises. Wind and fire are of the same family. This is the image of members of a family. What superior people see in this is that just as wind and fire are in the same place, wind rising from fire, similarly others and oneself live together, and so what one can do for others is based on oneself. If one is upright oneself, others will naturally be influenced. Therefore, when superior people speak, they do not speak in vain. There must be something factual for them to speak about. When they act, they do not do so at random. There must be something consistent about their deeds. When one is careful about one's words and prudent in one's acts, those with whom one lives will also be factual in speech and consistent in deeds, and be members of a family with oneself. Members of a family does not only mean people of the same house. It means all those among whom one lives and with whom one works. When there is factuality in speech, words being based on actualities, then there is a point, there is evidence, that speech will accord with reason. When there is consistency in deeds, action having a conclusion, then there is true practice and genuine application. Those deeds will accomplish something. When one speaks factually and acts consistently, without flaw in word or deed, inwardly not losing oneself, outwardly not hurting others, then those with whom one lives and works will be influenced without anything being said, just as wind spontaneously rises when fire burns. Words are the voice of the mind. Deeds are the tune of the body. If practitioners of the Tao speak with factuality and act with consistency, then the mind will be upright and the body will be disciplined. Nature and life will have a dwelling place. Furthermore, they will be in confluence with heaven above and earth below, and will be members of a family with heaven and earth. A general question we'll bring to the I Ching is, how can I act in creative relation with the spirits or forces shaping this moment of time? Hexagram 37, people in the home. Key questions. Where are the boundaries of the home you inhabit? How are you building inner and outer relationships into a home? What kinds of growth does this environment support? Oracle, people in the home. A woman's constancy is fruitful. The old Chinese character for home shows a pig under a roof. A home is where people rear a pig together, sharing wealth, work, and value. People in the home cooperate in their shared space and invest in it together, as in a family, workplace, school of thought, or culture. And within the structure it provides, they can recognize and understand what is valuable. To create a successful home, you need to have the constancy of a woman. Steadily, over time, your work creates a space in which all can grow freely into their natural form and find their place and their connections with others. You allow space for new things to enter and grow, becoming part of the whole inner ecosystem. You keep the space for living in. Image. Wind comes forth originally from fire. People in the home. A noble one's words have substance and her actions are consistent. A strong fire in the hearth will create its own drought. The light and warmth at the center of the home translating into far-reaching influence in the world. It represents a constant, living awareness that pervades the structure and makes its presence felt in everything the noble one says and does. Also, the fire needs a free flow of air to burn cleanly and steadily. Real words and consistent actions keep it alight. Sequence. People in the home follows from Hexagram 36, brightness hidden. Injury on the outside naturally means turning back towards the home, and so people in the home follows. The home is a refuge. Inner light that had to be hidden away from the outside world is secure here and finds expression. When you are unappreciated or unseen, you turn back and connect with like-minded people. Pair. People in the home forms a pair with Hexagram 38 opposing. Opposing means outside. People in the home means inside. These two hexagrams describe a single landscape. Every inside must have its outside. Inside, you find your fellows, those who share your vision. Outside are the foreigners who see differently and do not belong in this home. We will be reading chapter 20 out of the Tao Te Ching, translated by Jia-Fu Fang and Jane English. Give up learning and put it into your troubles. Is there a difference between yes and no? Is there a difference between good and evil? Must I fear what others fear? What nonsense. Other people are contented, enjoying the sacrificial feast of the ox. In spring, some go to the park and climb the terrace, but I alone am drifting, not knowing where I am. Like a newborn babe before it learns to smile, I am alone, without a place to go. Others have more than they need, but I alone have nothing. I am a fool. Oh yes, I am confused. Other men are clear and bright, but I alone am dim and weak. Other men are sharp and clever, but I alone am dull and stupid. Oh, I drift like the waves of the sea, without direction, like the restless wind. Everyone else is busy, but I alone am aimless and depressed. I am different. I am nourished by the Great Mother.